Down beneath the surface of the Jaku General Hospital, Dr. Garaki sat in his mechanical chair, staring at the many screens of diagnostics, waves and other forms of logistics as tubes of Nomus surrounded him. Doctor. A raspy voice called from the shadows. Garaki, with his mechanical circular spectacles, turned to view the figure slowly walking into the dim light of the screens. His white face dry, his lips cracked, his hair falling below his shoulders. The doctor smiled. Shigaraki Tamura, he announced, turning his full attention to the young successor. What a perfect time for you to arrive. I see you've done well in scattering the Liberation Front. You just missed a call from one of our other doctors. As happy as you are, old man. This is boring. What are we waiting for? Shigaraki asked, his dead eyes staring into the spectacles of his newly found follower. Nothing anymore, the doctor stated, turning towards his visitor. While Asagiri claims she only has an idea of where Izuku Midoriya is, I know she has the exact location. She only gives an answer when she knows. Quote dot. We have made all the preparations, Shigaraki. All the pieces are in place. The liberation is scattered in groups, all under your command. Once you give the word, the uprising will begin. With your manipulation of Gasuki, the gas lighter, half of the heroes have quit, and the remaining half is injured. The government is turning on itself, greed and fear causing them to make rash decisions, limiting the heroes and shutting down the hero schools. Reconstruction is still underway for the city's One for All, Dabi and the gaslighter caused. Izuku Midoriya, the current wielder of One for All, is weak. He doesn't understand the power within him, nor does he understand what he is truly up against. The boy can't even figure out how not to break his arms. The heroes had no choice but to scatter the students to try and locate the groups of the liberation, inexperienced teenagers. Izuku Midoriya's support, the school and his teachers aren't around to properly help him. Quote dot. And to top it all off, Asagiri and her assistant Yusuke have done well in locating all the pieces they need. The copy quirk, held by Monoma Nieto, the overseer quirk held by Hima Oshagiri, rewind held by Eri, obliviate with Yosuke, and amplify with Asagiri herself. All valuable quirks, all being manipulated along with Midoriya with One for All. Even Asagiri herself does not realize she is being manipulated and used, blinded heavily by her own ambitions. And last but not least, the hospitals being built around the country, in order to hide our final trump card, each underground. Each ready to be lit when the time is right. I give Asagiri about a week before she does something drastic. If I've meddled with her mind well enough, each action will lead directly to us, meaning we have around 7 days starting tomorrow. 7 days for what, old man? You haven't told me what you want to do. Shigaraki said, getting frustrated. Garaki slowly turned to his machines. It's time for your body modification, while no heroes or vigilantes are onto us or can't pinpoint our location. It is time for you to gain the quirk of your master. All for one. Asagiri drove down the dark streets, the burning exhilaration in her chest. Yosuke silently watched as her breaths became more and more raspy as they drove. Asagiri, what happened in that hospital? Is this really all for the liberation? He asked, staring at her. Asagiri frowned, glancing over at him. He really was just a basic liberationist, wasn't he? Yosuke, why are you with the liberation again? Asagiri asked as they drove. Yosuke leaned back once again in his chair. I hate restrictions. To be limited. This is a society of superpowers, where individualism is at its prime, a sense of self physically manifested in what we call quirks. And yet those manifestations of self are basically illegal, feared by the government for people like me, people like villains. Most villains aren't even villains. They're just homeless people, abused, hurt, and all they have to survive is their quirk. Their individualism. I'm tired of a piece of myself being chained. Whether it's an all out chaotic world, or a new structure. I want this current system gone. He said. The liberation promised me a new world. Ah, yes, from the outside it sounds like quite the dream. However, you are so nearsighted. Asagiri said. Yosuke squinted at her. If I hadn't grown fond of you in the few months we've been working together, I would have killed you for saying something like that. That is proving my point right there. Asagiri said. Yosuke raised an eyebrow. You're under the liberation for freedom to do as you please. However, if the liberation does fully get what they want, chaos will ensue. The strongest will lead. What happens when there is someone stronger than you? Someone who gets on your bad side. Then what? Asagiri asked. Yosuke remained silent. Asagiri smiled. Yosuke wasn't the brightest. With a quirk like his, manipulation is his true power, removing memories. However, all he thinks about is, you saying I'm not strong enough to beat my opponent? Yosuke asked, sitting back up in the passenger seat. Asagiri sighed. If he was smart, he would rely on his quirk, not the muscle. Sometimes a person's quirk didn't match their brain. You never know. You saw on TV what that boy Izuku Midoriya did to Gaslighter. You think you could beat that without my amplification? Asagiri asked. Yosuke thought about that a moment. What are you trying to suggest? Yosuke asked. Think about it, Yosuke. You can't get to the top with an oligarchy like the League of Villains leading the liberation. However, what if I told you I found something out under the liberation? Someone who has everyone under their control. Even the great Shigaraki. What about this man? Yosuke asked, getting more and more interested in what she was saying. Let's just say, it's easier to get the fondness of one man and grow in his ranks, than grow in the ranks of a government like ruling. Wouldn't you say? Asagiri said, stopping at a red light. She turned towards Yosuke. Help me make that man proud. We can climb the ranks in his personal army. The Liberation and League of Villains are just stepping stones for him. Let's not become one of those stones like the Liberation Front. Let's become great. What do you say? Yosuke stared at her for a while before leaning back in his passenger seat yet again. You better be glad I trust you. Your intuition is usually right. We've had nothing but success on these missions looking for those quirk users. Fine, I'll follow you. But you'd better be right. What do you want me to do? We'll split up in the next few days. The moment the snow calms is when we strike. The heroes won't have much mobility, nor with those students, Bakugo and Uraraka. Not much they can do in an unseeable snowstorm. The storm should last about 7 more days. We have at least, starting from tonight, 180 hours to succeed. Quote dot. We'll split up on the day that we choose, whichever day that may be, whether it's tomorrow or the final seventh day, you will head back to the mountains. I'll amplify you up before you leave. It'll be the biggest amplification you've taken. I'll amplify your physical abilities and your quirk. You'll be on a time limit. The more amplification you take, the more it drains you. I'm sure you'll pass out from exhaustion after too long. There will no doubt be struggle against the students, especially Midoriya and Bakugo, but you can't waste too much time. Take Midoriya and Oshagiri and get out of there. If something goes wrong, abandon Oshagiri and take Midoriya. He's the most important one out of the two. Asagiri explained. Where will you go? And how will I get out? If I'm exhausted, then how will I get them back here before they catch up to me? Yosuke asked. Asagiri smiled. Don't worry. I'll be here at the facility recovering Nito Monoma. Just be on the lookout. Let's just say, I'll have a nice purple warp portal for you. Yosuke grunted before closing his eyes. You really better be right about this. Asagiri smiled as the light turned green. She pressed on the gas pedal, moving forward, not just down the road into the night, but towards her dream. The only way to be 100% is to test an experiment. With science, you can make yourself right. Asterisk 180 hours remain. Dot 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 dot. Let the countdown event begin.